Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. I was just thinking about, well, two things really. One is to do with the world we live in, and also to do with the podcast before where I was talking about the island of truth, or the island of children, whatever, which one you want to use. You know, you build an island and go and live on it and live a different way of living than the one that we all live at the moment, with banks and schools and police and state and, you know, all the institutions that are everywhere around the world. No matter what language is spoken, what culture is, all of them have these infrastructure that is exactly the same and does the same process. And it's funny, really, you know, to think that, you know, if you look at different books written throughout the different parts of the world, different ideas come along. But when it comes to the infrastructure, it's the same one. Not, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of difference between capitalism and communism, but it's a very vague difference. It's not really that much. It's just about perception, really, or how it worked out, and, you know, there's still people in power and people, you know, doing whatever they want. The idea of communism was a better idea than the one that was put in practice. So I guess there's no really true version of communism, as Karl Marx wanted. But the thing I was thinking of is that the life we live at the moment, I call it like a fiction. And what I'm trying to say is that we're born babies with blank sheets, and then we're taught how to speak, how to behave, how to think, how to feel. Lots of these things, some things are intrinsic. That was the word I was trying to think of before. But some things are learned. Nature versus nurture argument. It's difficult to differentiate or prove which comes from which. But then I was thinking about, whatever way you pick, you know, even in this island of truth, that you could still refer to it in the way I do as a fiction, because we've chosen that we're going to speak this language, we've chosen that we're going to believe in truth, we've chosen that we're going to not use money, we've chosen that we're going to work for the betterment of everyone rather than needing a financial aid to get you to do things for other people. You know, because of that, also what you would manufacture and what you would do wouldn't just be for commercialism, you know, because the world we live in, we have to have the same people making the same products, because each one wants to get the money from the pocket of the consumer. But in this island of truth, it wouldn't be like that. There would be no need for that. It's a waste to do that. We would just keep the essentials that we need. We just need one car. We don't need a billion different versions of a car to get around. That's buying in beauty and pride and all those types of things. We need functionality and not wasting human endeavour so that we can put our minds to other things, such as cures and better ways of living. But even that would be a fiction, isn't it? Because that's how we've chosen to live. A bit like the name that you're given is not your real name. It was a name you were given by your parents. You don't know your real name. But then I guess it comes across as like, I suppose that we've decided that we need to have these things to exist. Otherwise we'd be no different from animals. Maybe that's what makes the difference between us. And then I was thinking about, you know, why is it that people don't want to change? Because when they think about the system that we live in, surely people see that, you know, there's suffering, there's poverty, there's wars, you know, there's power play, there's, you know, big countries squeezing small countries, always keeping them in third world countries through debt, whilst looking like they have charities and giving them money. All the things that are going on that we all know. Throughout time, you will, you know, even if you're young, you will see these things throughout your life, and you'll realise that the world we live in is a pretty miserable place unless you've got a lot of money or a lot of power, and then you don't even notice it, or you don't notice it as much as those people that are cold and on the street and almost about to die. So, why is it we don't? We can, like I said before, we have to all buy into it to make it work. We have a choice. We don't realise we have a choice. It's not like we ticked a box or signed something although some people would say it's your birth certificate. That's a legal name thing, but what I'm trying to say is that we adopt this way. But I suppose the thing is, we don't really get a choice because we're young, we've got nothing in our brains, we're malleable, and our parents and the state and the schools teach us how to behave and how to be, and then by that time it's too late to think about, wait a minute, do I really want to live this way? I'm already living it because that's the only way I've ever known. But then I was also thinking about, is it to do with guilt? Is it to do with always thinking about what other people will think? There's a lot of times you go through life and you reflect, and I have this, and I don't know if I've mentioned on the podcast before, I'm sure I have. You think about the things you've done. No one's perfect. We all have our little, errors, or when we've hurt people, and we think about all these things, or some of us do, and you feel bad, and you think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I'd done this, or why did that have to happen? And you want to go through life ideally, but life doesn't work that way, or at least the life that we have. There's lots of, every man must make mistakes. When I say man, I mean a man, woman, we all make mistakes. We all do things. Unfortunately, some of us will make big mistakes that we can't come back from. And as we're a judgmental species, we don't allow them to redeem themselves for a mistake they may not have really been their fault, because it was depending on what they were taught and how they were treated. But I was just thinking that, even I think about these things and my past and this, that and the other, and it hurts me and I feel guilt, and then I was thinking to myself, well, is this, like when people do, if you talk about, oh, why can't we have a better world? Why do we have to have people starving? Why do we have to have people on the streets when we've got, ample amounts of land? We've got buildings that are standing there, not being used. Why do we have to be like that? But I think that's, we always think about, oh, what's the other person going to say? If I said this to a stranger, they're going to look at me like I'm mad, or like I'm some idealist, or I'm crazy. And I think we spend a lot of time in our lives thinking about what other people think. And I think, I don't know, is that taught? Are we taught to be like that, or is it intrinsic? I don't think it's intrinsic. I think we must be taught to be like that, and that's what stops us from making these changes, because we're all worried about saying the actual truth, that, wait a minute, this world, the way we're living it, is not working. People are suffering. Why? Why are people suffering? They're only one life they're ever going to get, if that's how it is. Imagine, all of us one day will die, and there'll be people who are born after, and they will die. And this is your one chance to live, and it just depends on the roll of the dice of what you get and how you live it. I mean, I think there's meant to be more religious people than not. What responsibility do we all each have for every person born, that they have a good life with the one chance that they get? But we're not doing that. Surely we can all see that. So what stops us from all just screaming that from the top of from our lungs? I'm thinking of us, in my mind it's thinking of, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Why isn't that happening? Don't we care? I think we do, isn't it? Every individual you speak to, whatever they believe, surely they care about how people are living and the suffering that they're going through. No, it seems like a majority of people do have hearts. Look at all the money that's given to charities that don't seem to do very much. There is definitely, mankind has a good heart. So what's stopping us from airing that and making that change? Is it doubt? Maybe that's what we've got to stop, and then maybe we can solve this place if we can just, I don't know, how do we all air our voices to this and make the change that's needed, so that the one life that everyone has is a good one. Take care, take it easy. God bless and peace.